Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm Shoji Kawachi, Director at the Institute. And between Teikyo University and HMU, so we have the many exchange programs last year and last 2 years. And because of the COVID-19, we cannot go to Vietnam now. So we should do the meeting and discussion with online. And thank you very much to make up this discussion and lecture on your side. And it's very, very important and good thing for our students. If you're all right, I want to introduce the students by themselves. Is it all right? One by one. Is it all right? 7 students now here and join this meeting. So they just say one minute. Introduced by themselves. Please see this active, then you can see the face of the students. So please do it. Please. Hey, please.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, my name is Saki Hoshino. I'm the 5th year student in Teikyo University, and I was really shocked that I couldn't go to Vietnam this year, but I was really excited for this program. So yeah, I was really looking forward for it. So I hope we can have a really nice time today. Thank you.
Hello. Sorry. My name is Shoshakawa. I'm 5th student at Teikyo University, and I am interested in Vietnam COVID-19 pandemic. So please give me a lot of information about COVID-19. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Moeko. I'm 23 years old. I belong to the soccer club as a manager leader. My mother is a cabin attendant, so she often goes to Vietnam, but I've never been to Vietnam, so I wish I could go Vietnam someday. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nozomi Yorikawa. I'm 23 years old. 2 years ago, I went on a trip to Da Nang. I'm interested in infection disease and ophthalmology. I'm sorry I couldn't go to Vietnam. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ryuichiro Oku. I'm in the year 5. I want to be a surgeon in the future. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Midori. I'm a medical student as well. It's a shame we couldn't come to Vietnam this time, but I'm so grateful to this opportunity and I'm happy to be able to see you today. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Maya Oshima. and I've always wanted to talk with medical students from overseas. So I'm really glad to have this opportunity like this. I'm very looking forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for invite and service. And now we will start the lecture program first, and secondly, after that, we will start the student discussion program. And on our side, one student is presenting our students' life and the system in Teikyo University. And then please discuss with your students and our students. Is it all right? How is it going on? So after your lecture first, and then our student will present our student program, actually, and then discuss between the students about the student program. Is it all right?
Hello, everybody. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I will introduce myself a little bit. My name is Hami, and I'm the third year student in Hà Nội Medical University. So to continue our presentation, I will now present to you about the main part of our presentation, which is the situation of COVID-19 in Vietnam. So the pandemic in Vietnam is divided into 4 ways. And you can look at the timeline here. So COVID first appeared in Vietnam at the beginning of 2020. So in the 3 previous outbreaks, each lasted for about 2 to 3 months. And the current wave, which is the 4th wave, started in April and is still in a very complicated development. So COVID has spread to more and more provinces throughout each outbreak. So at the current time, COVID has appeared in 62 out of 63 provinces of Vietnam, and it centers in Ho Chi Minh City and southern provinces. Here are our southern provinces of Vietnam. So most of the cases in the first wave were infected outside of Vietnam, but the number of community transmission cases started to rise, and it finally surpassed the imported cases. So as the number of cases skyrocket, the death toll is also increasing. As we can see from the situation of Vietnam at the moment, the Delta variant of COVID-19 absolutely has the ability to spread more extensively and threatens the lives of more and more people compared to the Alpha and Beta variant. So in order to stop the spreading of COVID-19, the Vietnamese government is providing free vaccines to people above the age of 18 and start implementing Directive 15 and 16. So what are the main differences between these 2 directives? I will show you in the graphic coming next. Okay, so first we'll see a difference in the number of people gathering. According to Directive 16, every resident is required to stay home as much as possible. And we also cut down on the number of people gathering outside from 10 to only 2 people. And the safe distances and the service providers between these 2 directives stay the same, that people should be at least 2 meters away from each other, and only essential services are allowed to be open, like the drugstores, banks, or the markets. But there are changes in the transportation. In the Directive 16, all the public transportation are suspended, and people from a city that has been reported to have cases will not be allowed to enter the other cities. So what did Vietnam do to protect the residential life and social security work? In the first 6 months of 2021, despite being affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, localities still continue to dual goal of preventing and fighting the pandemic, as well as recovering and developing the social economy at the same time. Besides, the government have implemented many forms of job creation, provided unemployment benefits for workers, and pay for people in areas which are directly affected by the pandemic. And there are also more than 30 million social insurance cards for free medical examination and treatment distributed. Therefore, our people's lives generally remain stable and under control. So what exactly led to the success of Vietnam's fight against COVID-19? First, we have to mention the government. They quickly implement social distancing in time, and they also track and isolate F0 and F1 so that the virus will not spreading around. And they also construct many field hospitals so that every patient can receive the treatment and no citizen is left behind. And our people and our government also provide us with free vaccinations in order that everyone can get vaccinated, no matter what their social status is. The second is the medical system. So not only doctors, but also medical students volunteer to enter the center of the pandemic to support other promises. And our medical force works for days and nights to get people vaccinated to achieve herd immunity. And last but not least is our residents. They very cooperate in the tracking of F0 and F1, and they also strictly obey social distancing. And we have to mention the contribution of Vietnamese people to the Vietnam's COVID-19 vaccine fund. So in only one day, the Vietnam's COVID-19 fund received nearly 360 million USD from people's contribution, which is a very impressive number. And here is a picture of our field hospitals. And so now in the last part of our presentation, I will show you images and video that has got some very beautiful gesture of Vietnamese people during the pandemic. So as we all know, because of COVID-19, many people have become unemployed, and that's a real challenge for poor people to survive each day. Therefore, we have these images of the rice ATM and free vegetable stores for the poor, the homeless during the pandemic season. And these rice ATM are designed so that with just a push of the button, the rice will automatically come out, and the amount of rice is enough for 2 to 3 people to eat for a week. Images like this now can be seen everywhere throughout the country, and it received many positive responses from residents and sponsors. And the last one is a clip of an artist with his saxophone. He's called Trần Mạnh Tuấn, and he's performing the song Homeland in front of a few hospitals where thousands of F0s are being treated. Despite having to wear masks and goggles, the artist still managed to complete his performance very beautifully. And we can see thousands of patients in the upper floor turning their flashlights on and swaying to the music. And now I will play the video so you can listen to it. So to conclude our presentation, Vietnam was one of the first countries to be affected by this pandemic, but the previous waves were still under control. So what is the key point here? That is the solidarity of the entire Vietnamese people, as well as the government and the medical force. In addition, we are very thankful for the extremely practical help from neighboring countries, including Japan and America, for sharing vaccines with us. Vietnam was the first country in the Southeast Asia that has received vaccine aid from Japan. Hopefully, one day in the near future, COVID-19 will no longer appear in Vietnam, as well as in the whole world. So that's the end of our presentation. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you for your listening.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Helen, and I'm a fourth-year student in Thanh campus of Hà Nội Medical University, and this is my friend. It's a really great honor for us to be here today to describe to you some highlights about infectious diseases situation of Vietnam. Okay, so at first, please take a look at our outline here. As you can see, we have some general information at the beginning, and then some definition to help you know better about what we're going to discuss. After that is a main part about infectious diseases status in Vietnam. And then we'll show you an example for about infectious diseases in Thanh Hóa province. And the last but not least, the conclusion part will help you to summarize what you've heard. Okay, so infectious diseases are always a global threat that grows every year and contribute to excess mortality. And if we look further to the past, you'll notice that the number of communicable diseases have risen continuously. And it seems like the more human society grows, the more likely pandemics become. Throughout history, many pandemics have occurred. Some of them even during the war, like leprosy pandemic, the Black Death, Spanish flu, HIV/AIDS, SARS, or etc. And as you can see, we're living in one of those world changers, the COVID-19 pandemic. Seeing our modern healthcare industry struggle to compete with the virus makes us understand that we have to prevent any potential outbreaks in the future. So we always know that Japan is a very developed country and has a good control over infectious diseases. And Vietnam also has some certain accomplishments and difficulties. So that's why we're here today to share with each other what we have. Okay, so now let's have a look at some definitions. Can someone please tell us what you know about an infectious disease? How many can you?
Okay. So I think the transmitted disease is like a disease that can spread into the community. Is that right?
All right, that's a good answer. An infectious disease is defined as a disease caused by microorganisms, such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. Bacteria are unicellular organisms that multiply quickly. They may give off toxins that make you sick. Viruses, it just simply generate material packaged inside the protein code. And fungi, which are primitive plant-like organisms, such as mushroom, mold, mildew, and yeast. And parasites are animals or plants that survive by living on or in other living things. This organism may be transmitted by direct or indirect contact. Direct contact even singing and sexual contact. Pregnant mothers can also pass some organisms along to their babies. Some infectious diseases are acquired by ingesting contaminated food and water. Infectious agents may be spread by contact with fomites, or it may involve the vector. That may be a mechanical or biological factor. A mechanical vector picks up an infectious agent on the outside of this body and transmit it in a passive manner. On the other hand, biological vectors carry pathogens within their bodies and deliver it to the new host in an active manner. I'm sorry, can you hear me? I've got some problem with my micro. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna continue. Okay, in addition to the common ground, there are still outstanding and serious diseases that cause a heavy burden to the community. Firstly, I have to mention the viral hepatitis. So according to WHO, 1 out of 11 Vietnamese people is living with chronic hepatitis B and C, but many of them are not yet diagnosed or not accessing treatment. Viral hepatitis and alcohol accounts for about 90% of the causes of cirrhosis, but currently available medicines do not cure the HBV infections. But treatment can slow the progression of cirrhosis, reduce the incidence of liver cancer, and improve long-term survival. In our country, oral antivirus medicines do not to treat hepatitis B are available at hospitals and are already reimbursable by health insurance. Moreover, we have seen a revolution in hepatitis C treatment in recent years with the new medicines that called direct-acting antivirals or DAAs. Over 95% of people with HCV infection can achieve a cure, usually within 3 months. However, access to this new medicine is still limited. Currently, only a few DAAs are registered, and the treatment is still very expensive for many patients. The second is HIV infection. So HIV infections among injecting drug users is still account for the majority with 44%. The main route of transmission is still through blood with the rate of 75.9%. As you can see here, HIV/AIDS in Vietnam is still concentrated in high-risk groups such as injecting drug users and sex workers. But in recent years, there's sign that it is spreading into the community. There is a treatment called ARV that uses antiviral drugs, which inhibit the process of virus replication and can help patients to prolong their life. In Vietnam, by the end of August 2017, there were 58.1% of patients infected with HIV receiving ARV treatment, which is a higher proportion than the global rate. Although HIV/AIDS prevention has achieved some certain results, there is stigma and discrimination. Again, people living with HIV are still widespread in the community. It's not only affects people living with HIV or those who with high-risk behaviors for HIV infections, but also helps HIV silently spread in the community. But it's impossible for everyone to remove the stigma against HIV/AIDS immediately. And this is a really difficult problem for us now. So the last one is tuberculosis. As stated by WHO, Vietnam is in the top 30 countries with the highest burden of tuberculosis in the world. It is estimated that every year about 171,000 people are infected with pulmonary tuberculosis, of which 11,000 people die. So as we know, people with active tuberculosis infection typically show symptoms of the disease, while people with dormant cases do not show any symptoms. To reach this population, CDC Vietnam and partners employed the 𝓷𝓱𝓲, which uses chest X-ray and rapid detection tool to improve tuberculosis detection with higher sensitivity and specificity than the traditional method. The 𝓷𝓱𝓲 strategy more than tripled the number of tuberculosis cases found compared to the passive tuberculosis detection strategy. This is a very positive result, which proves that implementing the 𝓷𝓱𝓲 strategy can help us to advance the goal of ending tuberculosis in 2030. WHO and the National Tuberculosis Program have estimated that the tuberculosis incidence rate in Vietnam decreased by about 3.8% annually from 2007 to 2017. The tuberculosis incidence rate decreased by about 3% annually, and the mortality rate from tuberculosis declined by about 4% annually. However, besides the achieved results, the current tuberculosis prevention and control still have many difficulties and challenges. So after the characteristic of infectious diseases in Vietnam that we have described above, I'm going to present to you in more depth the characteristic of the infectious disease problem in Thanh Hóa, where we are studying and living. So in general, Thanh Hóa is a province in the north central coast region of Vietnam. This is a pretty large province, which ranks at 5th in area and as 3rd in population among 63 provinces. Furthermore, the geolocation that this province has is the typical climate of the north of Vietnam. Therefore, it has many characteristics of infectious diseases similar to the other provinces in Vietnam, which we have cited above. For example, there is still high incidence of some diseases like tuberculosis, flu, HIV, or hepatitis B. Besides the characteristics, Thanh Hóa is also one of the very active provinces of our country in limiting infectious diseases. Some units can be mentioned, such as CDC Thanh Hóa or the Department of Health. Recently, one of the outstanding achievements that can be mentioned in the prevention of the COVID-19 epidemic, Thanh Hóa is one of the provinces with a low incident rate in our country. It ranks 36 out of 62 in terms of the number of COVID-19 cases in the whole country, according to data of the Ministry of Health.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm preparing.そういう音声を共有。これ共有共有した。来てるけど、来てる。スライドしよう。最初から。パワーポイントの矢印入れなくて、なんだっけ、レーザーポイントで。これ OK。Hello? Can you hear me? Thank you. My name is 𝓷𝓱𝓲𝓮. I'm in the year 5. I want to talking about clinical training at Teikyo University during the coronavirus pandemic. Let me show you about curriculum in medical school. And in the Japanese medical school, it is six-year system. So year 1 and year 2 and year 3 and year 4 is a classroom lecture. But at the year 4, at the first half, it is classroom lecture. But the second half, we are working on bedside training. And the year 5 and year 6, we are working on bedside training. I'm year 5, so I'm here. Okay, at year 4, we became student doctor. We are taking written test called CBT, and we take practical skills test called 𝓷𝓱𝓲𝓮. After we passed, we become student doctor. Student doctor do many things like medical examination and inspection, writing medical record, CPR, or drawing, surgical assistant. This is a picture of student doctor ceremony. We are here. We are the student doctors, my friends. He is Freddie Mercury. Maybe he is in the band named Queen. We are the champions. It's one of his best songs. I like him. But coronavirus pandemic is occurred. I will show you about the number of newly infected people by day in Tokyo. This was in 2020, and this was in 2021. Now we are about 4,000 people of newly infectious people. So the government policy is declaration of state of emergency. First state of emergency is from April 7 to March 25. First is here, and then second, and third, and fourth. declaration of state of emergency caused restaurants to reduce working hours at first time, and schools to be closed, events to be cancelled. At the second time was like this: reduced working hours, schools opened, events reduced capacity. At the third time, it's like this: reduced working hours, stop serving alcohol, schools open, events hold with no audience. At the fourth time, it's like this: reduced working hours, stop serving alcohol, schools open, events reduce capacity. I think it's at the first time schools is closed, but at the second and third and fourth time, schools are open because the government think that education is very important. So they think that the teachers should meet students directly, face to face. We are also affected by the coronavirus. Let me introduce change 1, all day to half day. At conventional, we are working clinical training from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. like this, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. At present, however, we are working training from 8 a.m. to noon or from noon to 4 p.m. half day. Change 2, we are working training as small group lesson. At conventional, we are working training at all at once, like this, for students. But at present, we are divided into 2 groups, like this, 8 a.m. to noon to 2 people, and from noon to 4 p.m., 2 people are working on the training. Change 3, we are begin online lecture like Zoom and learning management site called LMS. We can watch lecture movies and submit homework and get school introduction. Clinical training in 2020 and 2021 at conventional, all day and all at once and face-to-face. But in 2020, like this, half day, small group, online, or face-to-face. In 2021, like this, half day, small group, and face-to-face, mostly. For example, curriculum of respiratory department. Monday in the morning, we are working on practical training, and in the afternoon, we are working on remote learning. Online lectures are written in blue, so this and this and this and this is online. Tuesday is like this. Wednesday is like this. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I am talking about advantage and disadvantage of present curriculum. Advantages are here. We can prevent the spread of infectious disease we can limit the need to go to school. We can save time. But there is disadvantage here. It requires internet, less interaction with patients, and some students become lazy. And finally, let me show you about my opinion. I am actually satisfied with current training. It allows me to avoid rush hour train. At conventional, I have to ride on the train at 8 a.m. and I have to ride on the train at 4 p.m. It was crowded, very crowded train I have to ride on. But at present, at noon, the train was not crowded, so crowded. So sometimes I can ride on not crowded train. So it is very comfortable. So thank you. Do you have any questions? No, I'm finished. Can I ask you a question? My name is 𝓷𝓱𝓲𝓮. Sorry. Okay. Is it okay? And recently, the number of deaths by infectious disease is decreasing in Vietnam. Could you explain again about the reason for this? Yes.
Thank you for your lectures. Can I ask something? Okay. You mentioned that you have a variety of infectious control methods. Is everyone following them in Vietnam? So in Japan, the number of patients of coronavirus is bigger in young people because young people is go out and drink with friends, not following the infections. The rules. So I want to know about the situation in Vietnam.
They will gather all the questions for us and answer later.
Yes, please. Another question here.
My name is Shoshakawa. Thank you for a good presentation. And I have some questions. May I ask you? Thank you. And why do Vietnamese have a habit of not going to the hospital? It's question one. And number two, in Japan, restaurants are closed under a state of emergency. However, there are some restaurants that are open without permission due to lack of government support, and such story. Oh, sorry. Okay.
We are writing it on the chat right now, so please wait a second. So we sent our questions on the chat, so I hope you guys can see it. Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is Me, and can I answer the question too? So you say that emergency declarations are issued, but people keep going out, and few people stay home. Is that right? So in Vietnam,
Yes. So
in Vietnam, when we have the social distancing, there are many policemen outside in the road, so that if people go outside and they cannot show the police the permission paper, or they do not have the reason, like the reason like they need essential stuff, and they will be charged with money. They can be asked to turn back and go home. So that's why people in Vietnam, we do not go out, we stay home.
I see. Is it related to being socialist?
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay.
Thank you, Miha. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you.
Is it related to being socialist?
Can I ask, what do you mean by socialist?
Many policemen working in the street. Socialist means opposite of democracy. Sorry.
Okay, you're talking about politics?
No. Well, he was in Japan. Like, there's no policeman even under of the statement. So like, we really don't get like anything, any charge or something, and even if we go out and do party outside. So yeah, I think that's like the reason why young people are like sort of getting bored, because like all the fun things is now gone due to the COVID-19 and people are losing patience. So that's why people go out and drink and have fun. And I think, and no one is there to prohibit that, because the government only say it on TV, like, oh, please stay home and don't go outside, but no one really is there to tell them to go home. So that's probably the difference in Vietnam and Japan.
Yeah, in Vietnam, when people go outside, will be arrested by the policemen, and we can be charged like 100 USD to 200. So yeah, I think that's the reason why.
Yeah, that's really expensive. If we do that in Japan, I think no one's gonna go out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will answer one more question. Is the number 4. You asked why the COVID-19 is controlled in Hanoi but not in Ho Chi Minh City, and about the population difference between Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh. The population in Hanoi is about 5 million, and that in Ho Chi Minh is about 7 million. So there are more people in Ho Chi Minh City than Hanoi. And it's about the difference in our lifestyle. In Ho Chi Minh City, people tend to they love to go out and for days and nights, and they love to have fun, love to spend money. And in Hanoi, we work a lot, and we also have fun. We also enjoy going out, but I think it's less than in Ho Chi Minh City. It's about the difference in our lifestyle.
Are there no policemen in Ho Chi Minh City?
Can you ask again?
Are there no policemen in Ho Chi Minh City?
There are still a lot of policemen in Ho Chi Minh City.
Yes, it's really clear. Thank you.
And I want to add one more reason to why the COVID-19 spread in Ho Chi Minh City, because it's about the Delta variant and it spread very extensively. Yeah, that's the reason why. And I will answer the question number one about the restaurants that open without the permission. Actually, in Vietnam, that's like a very minority of people, and the majority of our people have like a very high awareness. And if people see a restaurant open in this time without and they know that this restaurant is opens without permission, they will tell the government to like close down close the restaurants down. Yeah, it's like among our people.
I understand.
Everyone, I have additional about the first questions. In my experience, I see people in Vietnam can buy pharmacy in any drugstore. And for example, I have a thought or cough on any and I come to drugstore. You just they are and the pharmacy will buy you any drug if you that I need. I think it's the bad habit of the patient of people Vietnam.
Thank you.
学校の教育が普及したのと、医療が普及したのと、
みたいなことを言ってました。質問されたんじゃなくて、奥海のに対する答えで。Okay, so for after you finish your school in 6 years, so sixth graders will take the national exam in Japan to become a doctor, and that's usually held in February. And after you pass the national exam, you can become a doctor, but there's gonna be 2 years of training to become a doctor who can so we can do anything. And then after that, we go to specialist course for 3 years. So it's gonna take 5 more extra years to become a specialist in Japan. Am I answering your question clearly? Okay.
So is it like 8 or 9 years in total?
Pardon, can you repeat your question again?
So is it like 8 or 9 years in total?
Oh no. We finished our school in 6 years, but we still do have a training as a doctor after we graduate from university. So we're gonna have probably like 5 or 6 years of training years as a working doctor after we graduate from university.
Okay.
Yeah. So the totally 12 years usually we need to be a medical specialist doctor. But if you want to take only the MD, you can take 6 years. But clinical doctor, to be clinical doctor, you need 12 years or 11 years at least. You do that. Okay?
Sure. Yes.生魚を食べることによって起きる感染症について聞きたいみたいです。Wait a second. Where are you still? 生魚を食べる文化は伝統的なものによって起こる感染症をして、今度は でも生の魚食べるから生の魚で気を教えてくれて。
And maybe do you know anisakis? Anisakis in Japanese.
We don't really get infected from the raw fish because usually the factory main thing is probably 100 sure that it's not infected. But some people go fishing and when they eat raw fish, they get some parasite called anisakis. Sometimes, yes, it's not really frequently in Japan.
Excuse me, can you talk to the mic because it's pretty hard to hear.
Yeah, I just translate.
Yeah, like good now. Yeah. Mình giải thích thêm bằng tiếng Việt vậy nhé. Ở bên này ấy, thì cái hệ thống xử lý thức ăn rất là chuẩn nên là rất là hiếm khi mà có cái bệnh ký sinh trùng nào mà liên quan đến thức ăn raw cả. Thường một số người ta đi câu cá, tự họ đi câu cá và tự họ mua về, tự họ câu cá, tự họ ăn cái cá đấy thì họ sẽ có thể bị mắc ký sinh trùng, nhưng mà cái tỷ lệ đấy thì rất là thấp. Còn lại những cái thức ăn mà mình mua được từ siêu thị hoặc những cái cơ sở của nhà nước bán ra là đã hoàn toàn đảm bảo rồi, nên là cái tỷ lệ ký sinh trùng là rất là thấp. Đấy là câu trả lời của bạn.
Okay, so Lambda variant is very rare in Japan at this moment. We have no people who have Lambda, so mostly the hospitals are fighting against Delta, so we really aren't doing anything yet. It's a question from the chat.
So do you know how many cases that have been reported to have to be infected by the Lambda variant?
I think there's no cases reported. Zero cases is reported as Lambda. We don't. we don't have them yet. Delta の件説とか今。ラムダ来てね。Specialist about influenza use for okay, so in Teikyo University, people who has been diagnosed as COVID-19, 90% is diagnosed as Delta and 10% is diagnosed as Alpha. So we don't have Lambda. And なんかチャットになんかうちの学校は感染症のなんかスペシャリストだってあれ知ってるんですけど、それに関してはどうでしょう。先生が。
For ADC Institute, for Infectious Disease Institute, so the variant check and test is all in this institute do. So Lambda, Delta, and Alpha also check. So usually the COVID-19 PCR is tested by hospital laboratory. And all the sample sent to ADC Institute, and we check the variant. So we check the variant in all cases, right? Okay.
Bên mình nghe có rõ không ạ? 感染症の診療を特別にやっているというよりは、
and in the hospital, we also the team of the infectious disease, and they are engaged in mainly now COVID-19 also.
Và nghe em giải thích lại. I will explain more. Oh, he said that in this rule, it's not clear. Yeah.
Is it not clear? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Thầy vừa giải thích về cái câu hỏi của anh chị về bệnh truyền nhiễm và những cái khả năng mà có thể làm được ở Teikyo, thì trong Teikyo cái khoa ADC là cái khoa chuyên về truyền nhiễm. Thì cái khoa này có thể hiện tại thì bây giờ đang xét nghiệm tất cả các cái biến thể của tất cả các bệnh nhân bị COVID-19. Thì tất cả các bệnh nhân bị COVID-19 được nhập viện đều được xác định biến thể. Em không biết ở nước mình thì có được xác định biến thể định danh các biến thể đấy ở Việt Nam hay không, nhưng ở đây thì tất cả các cây đều được xác định và 90% là Delta.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
in Japan also the Delta is very rapidly spread in the whole country. So from the northern area, Hokkaido, to the Okinawa, southern area. In Japan, we have almost in all area, Delta is very rapidly spread. So now we have the Delta COVID-19 patients in whole country. It's a big problem. So please take care. Please stop the south in Vietnam and not the north Delta. Okay?
Hello. Did you hear him clearly? Hello. Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Did you hear what he said? Kawachi-san said?
Pardon?
Kawachi-sensei was saying something. Did you hear that?
No, sorry, we cannot hear that.
Oh, sorry.
Because without the mic, it's
Oh,
pretty
without the
hard
mic.
to hear.
Oh, actually here. Okay.
So I guess you will have to pass the mic around.
Okay. I mentioned about the delta strain. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
In Japan, delta is from the northern area to the southern area. In Japan, the delta spread very quickly in 2 or 3 weeks. And so we have the delta strains more than 20,000, nearly 30,000 per day people, all the delta strains. So please stop very clearly north and the south. Please stop within the south area in Vietnam and not enter to the north area. It's a very, very important point, I think. All right? In Japan, we missed to stop them. So in Japan, we have the whole country delta strains. Already vaccinated.
All the students who are working in the hospital are all vaccinated already. So that's why we have training in the hospital. Is my answer enough? We are not tested regularly, so we can't say the prevention is perfect, but we are all vaccinated.
Yes. So about the hospital training, we don't enter the students and the first grade clinician to the COVID-19 ward, not touch to the patient. And only they can see the computer and we explain the patient. We doctors, so indirect, they see the COVID-19 patient, not direct. And all the physician in the COVID-19 team is all the doctors is more than six years in medical doctor. It's clinical doctor, more than 6 years can see the COVID-19 patient. It's our hospital system. So students are also, of course, they know the COVID-19 actually, but still they can touch or see the COVID-19 patient directly, only through the computer, okay? But they can see the treatment, of course. From the ward, isolated area, they can see the COVID-19 patient treatment, but just see and hear, not touch. Is it all right?
何%がワクチン日本で打ったし。
今1回目は50%。
Now, whole in Japan, they vaccinate first. If the vaccinated people is over 50%,
2回目受けた人は
but the twice is 37 or 6%. But in this university, all the people is on this Saturday, all the people, 5,000 people, is all vaccinated. On yes, yes. Not only students, but also the teachers and many people working on this campus. Okay.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, I'm 𝓷𝓱𝓲𝓮 from Hanoi Medical University, and I'm a dermatologist. I think that it's very, very interesting to have this kind of meetings, sharing experience between the two universities. So I see that all the presentations are very nice and very useful. But I'm very impressive on the way you change in clinical training. Like you have still you have, as I heard from you, that you have 4,000 COVID-19 cases per day. Is that right? Correct? But you still proceed bedside training, face to face. It's very impressive. I think that we should learn about that. But in Hanoi or in Vietnam in general, we have to follow the regulation from the government. Even in Hanoi nowadays, we have 50, 60 new cases per day. But the city has been locked down for 3 weeks already, and all the training, all schools are closed, and universities also closed. So the student cannot go to the university, even and hospital, especially for the student in the last years, like 5th years and 6th years. So other thing is that there are no patients, very, very few patients. So it's very difficult for us if the government allow us to allow students to go to the hospital to have bedside training. So that is our problem. So I think that we should learn from you how to proceed clinical training in the hospital. I think that you have changed the policy. It's very nice that half day, small group, and face-to-face. It's excellent training for students. But as I said, that it's not so easy for us so far. And for the COVID situation in Vietnam now, we have more in the southern part. Many provinces there, they have increased cases per day, especially in Ho Chi Minh City and Bình Dương, the nearby province. So more than in the whole country. Yesterday, more than 10,000 new cases per day, and almost are Delta variation. So, and the situation in Ho Chi Minh City and the provinces surrounding now are quite complicated, and all things are locked down and closed, shops and schools and everything closed down. Only some shops like groceries, very, very necessary things can open. So like myself, I'm living in Hanoi, but I'm home all the time and go to hospital only 1 time or 2 times in a week. And most of the activities are online. So that is the situation. in Vietnam now. And I think that all the discussion between the students and teachers today is very interesting. And I hope that in the future we will have more meetings like this. And when the COVID situation in Vietnam and Japan and other places in the world getting better, we can have a face-to-face meeting. So that would be great. And thank you so much for very interesting discussion and presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. So shall we gather here? And gather. Yeah, like yesterday, we will gather here, and then they will take it.
Should we take a photo and send it to you, or would you like to take a photo on your screen?
Bên mình cho em hỏi đấy ạ.
Alo ạ, bên chị có nghe thấy không ạ? Bây giờ bên em sẽ chụp ảnh, còn về chứng chỉ thì bên chị có thể giúp gửi đến sinh viên được không ạ? Bọn em sẽ đứng trước cái phông này, sau đấy thì em cũng không biết bên chị đứng ở đâu. Có ạ, vâng. Đây, bọn em sẽ đứng đây thì sẽ thấy được. Bọn em có cái đấy đúng rồi, bọn em sẽ đứng ở đấy.
Here. You're here. 카메라 近づけるかどうかはわかんないんだけど、どう見えてるかわかんない。これか。これでいい。俺たちが。向こう側に誰かな。
フリーハウス。
マスクどうしよう。
マスクは取るぞ。1、2の3。
どこ？
Thank you. sentence belongs.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you again.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for professors and students.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Cảm ơn các em sinh viên nhé, các em sinh viên và thầy Thức rồi tất cả các anh chị em ở trong đó nhé. Tổ chức một cái buổi rất là hay. Thế là các em sinh viên báo cáo rất hay và nói tiếng Anh tuyệt vời đấy. Cảm ơn các em rất là nhiều, cảm ơn thầy Thức, cảm ơn tất cả các em ở trong đấy nhé. Take care please. Thank you so much.
Who's that you?